Some people would rather spend Saturday night with their dog than at a party with humans. They'd choose a quiet walk with their cat over coffee with acquaintances. They feel more understood by a creature that can't speak than by people who can. To the outside world, this might seem sad, antisocial, like they're giving up on human connection, but they're not giving up. They're choosing differently. There is a psychology behind preferring animals over people, and it has nothing to do with hating humanity or being incapable of relationships. Research suggests that people who prefer animal companionship often have what psychologists call high emotional sensitivity combined with low tolerance for social performance. Animals offer something humans often don't: unconditional presence without judgment, agenda, or expectation. A dog doesn't care if you're successful. A cat doesn't need you to be interesting. A pet rabbit doesn't judge your life choices or compare you to others. They just are, and they let you just be. For people exhausted by the complexity of human relationships, that simplicity is not a downgrade, it's a relief. Psychologists distinguish between social isolation and selective social engagement. Not everyone who prefers animals is lonely or struggling with human connection. Some have rich human relationships, but still find animals more emotionally restorative. Some have been hurt by people and find animals safer. Some simply connect more authentically with creatures that communicate without words. None of these patterns indicate pathology. They indicate preference. But here's what makes this preference so misunderstood. Society treats love for animals as secondary to love for humans, as if caring deeply for a pet is somehow less legitimate than caring for a person, as if choosing animal companionship over human socializing is evidence of failure rather than choice. But anyone who has been truly seen by an animal knows connection is not measured by species. It's measured by depth. The person who prefers animals over people has often tried human connection extensively. They've been to the parties. They've maintained the friendships. They've engaged in the small talk, the social performances, the exhausting dance of human interaction. And somewhere along the way, they realized something. The dog waiting at home was offering more authentic connection than most of the humans in the room. Not because dogs are superior to humans, but because the relationship with the dog didn't require performance, didn't demand they be anything other than themselves. They could come home exhausted, emotionally depleted, barely holding it together, and the dog didn't need them to be okay. The dog just needed them to be there. That acceptance, simple, total, unconditional, is something many people never receive from other humans. And once you felt it, human relationships with conditions start to feel exhausting. There is a specific psychology shared by people who prefer animals. They have high capacity for emotional connection combined with low tolerance for emotional games. They're not avoiding connection, they're avoiding the complexity, judgment, and performance that often comes with human connection. Every human relationship comes with expectations, spoken and unspoken rules, social scripts about how to behave, what to say, when to show up, how much to share. Animals have no such scripts. They exist in pure authenticity. And for people who are tired of performing, that authenticity is medicine. They read emotions without needing explanations. They offer comfort without needing to understand why it's needed. They stay present without getting bored or distracted. Scientific studies show that interaction with animals lowers cortisol, increases oxytocin, reduces blood pressure, and activates the same bonding mechanisms as human connection. For some people, animals provide nervous system regulation that human interaction disrupts. Not because they're antisocial, but because their nervous system is highly sensitive to social complexity. But sometimes the world mislabels them. You need to get out more. Don't you get lonely? It's not healthy to isolate with just your pets. These statements assume that choosing animals over people is avoidance. But what if it's wisdom? What if they've learned through experience that animals offer something most humans don't? Consistency, safety, and unconditional acceptance. Yet many deeply compassionate, emotionally intelligent people prefer animals. They haven't given up on humanity, they've just become selective about which humans get access to their emotional energy. And they've discovered that animals, in their simplicity and authenticity, offer a quality of connection that many humans can't or won't provide. Maybe that's the truth no one wants to say. Sometimes animals are better company than people. Not because animals are perfect, but because the relationship is honest. It teaches you what unconditional love actually feels like. It teaches you that presence is more valuable than words. It teaches you that you don't have to earn affection. You can just receive it for existing. Still, here's the deeper question. What is it about animals that people who prefer them find so compelling? Sometimes it's the absence of judgment. Animals don't care about your past, your mistakes, your failures. They don't hold grudges. They don't bring up what you said 3 years ago. Every moment with them is fresh. They forgive instantly. They love without conditions. For people who've been judged, criticized, or rejected by humans, that non-judgmental presence is healing in ways therapy sometimes isn't. Sometimes it's emotional honesty. Animals don't hide what they feel. A dog that's happy shows it completely. A cat that wants space takes it without apology. There's no pretending, no social masks, no saying one thing while meaning another. What you see is what's real. For people exhausted by human emotional games, the passive aggression, the mixed signals, the gap between words and actions, animal authenticity is a breath of fresh air. Sometimes it's simplicity. Human relationships are complicated. They require navigation, interpretation, maintenance. You have to read between lines, manage expectations, balance needs. Animal relationships are simple. Feed them, care for them, be present with them. That's it. The contract is clear and the terms don't change. For people with limited emotional energy, that simplicity is not laziness, it's efficiency. Why spend energy decoding human complexity when you could spend it in straightforward, honest connection? Sometimes it's safety. Animals can't betray you in the ways humans can. They can't lie, manipulate, or use your vulnerabilities against you. They can't spread rumors, choose others over you, or suddenly decide you're not worth their time anymore. For people who've been hurt by human relationships, animals offer a form of connection without the risk of betrayal. Sometimes it's sensory regulation. Petting an animal is calming. Their presence is grounding. They offer physical comfort without the complexity of human touch. For neurodivergent individuals, highly sensitive people, or those with trauma histories, animals provide nervous system regulation that human interaction often disrupts. And sometimes it's simply recognition. Some people just connect more naturally with animals. They understand animal communication, body language, energy, presence, better than they understand human social cues. They're not broken. They're just wired to attune to a different frequency. People who prefer animals over people often hear the same accusations, that they're antisocial, damaged, using animals as substitutes because they can't handle real relationships. But that's fundamentally wrong. The relationship with an animal is not a substitute. It's a different kind of relationship, and for some people, a better one. Better doesn't mean animals replace all human connection. It means the quality of connection with animals is deeper, safer, and more nourishing than many of their human relationships. And there's nothing wrong with choosing what nourishes you over what depletes you.
Let's go deeper into the psychology behind this preference. Number 1. Attachment theory and secure bonds. Animals offer consistent, predictable attachment. They don't leave. They don't withdraw affection unpredictably. They create secure attachment in ways inconsistent humans often can't. Number 2. Emotional labor and reciprocity. Human relationships require emotional labor, managing others' feelings, navigating conflict, maintaining connection. Animals require care, but not emotional management. For people exhausted by emotional labor, animals offer reciprocity without depletion. Number 3. Authenticity and performance. Humans often require performance. Be interesting, be appropriate, be socially acceptable. Animals require only presence. For people tired of performing, animals offer permission to just exist. Number 4. Sensory sensitivity and nervous system regulation. Animals provide calming sensory input, soft fur, rhythmic breathing, warm presence. For highly sensitive people, animals regulate the nervous system without the overstimulation human interaction can bring. Number 5. Trust and betrayal. Many who prefer animals have been betrayed by humans. Animals can't betray in the same ways. They offer a form of trust that feels safe to give. Nonverbal communication. Some people understand energy and body language better than words. Animals communicate nonverbally, which for some people is actually clearer and more honest than human language. But here's the paradox. People who prefer animals are often incredibly empathetic toward humans. They care deeply about people. They just can't be around them constantly. They're not misanthropes. They're people with deep capacity for connection who've learned that quality matters more than quantity. And for them, one authentic connection with an animal is worth more than 10 shallow connections with humans. If you're someone who prefers animals over people, you've probably been made to feel like something is wrong with you. Like you should want more human connection. Like choosing to stay home with your pets instead of going out is sad or limiting. But what if it's not? What if you've simply learned what kind of connection actually fills you up? You're not broken. You're not antisocial. You're not settling for less. You're choosing authentic, simple, unconditional connection over complex, conditional, performative connection. And that's not a downgrade. That's discernment. Now let's talk directly to you. If you prefer animals over people, you already know what this feels like. You know the relief of coming home to a creature that's genuinely happy to see you. Not because you're successful or interesting, but just because you're you. You know what it's like to feel more understood by a being that doesn't speak your language than by people who do. You know the peace of spending time with an animal that doesn't need you to explain, justify, or perform. And you've probably been told that this preference is somehow less than, that you're using animals as a crutch, that real connection only happens with humans. But that's not true. Connection is connection, and the bond you have with your animal is real, deep, and valuable, even if society doesn't always treat it that way. You're not avoiding human connection because you're incapable of it. You're choosing animal connection because it's honest, safe, and nourishing in ways many human connections aren't. You're not missing out on life by choosing the company of animals. You're living a life that honors what actually brings you peace. Your preference for animals doesn't mean you hate people. It means you have high standards for the energy you let into your space, and animals meet those standards in ways that many humans don't. You're allowed to prefer the company of your dog over most people,
You're allowed to find more comfort in your cat than in social gatherings. You're allowed to feel more yourself around animals than around humans. That preference doesn't make you weird. It makes you someone who values authenticity over performance, presence over words, and unconditional acceptance over conditional approval. The world will try to convince you otherwise. It will tell you that human connection is superior, that you're isolating, that you need to push yourself to be more social. But you don't have to force yourself into connections that drain you just because society says human relationships should always come first. You're allowed to build a life around what actually nourishes you. And if that includes animals as your primary companions, that's not only okay, it's beautiful. Animals teach us things humans often can't. They teach us to be present, to communicate without words, to love without conditions, to forgive instantly, to exist without performing. Those are not lesser lessons. Those are profound lessons that many humans spend lifetimes trying to learn. And if you've learned them from animals, you haven't missed out on anything. You've gained something rare. People who prefer animals over people are not broken, lonely, or antisocial. They're people who've discovered that connection comes in many forms. And sometimes the most authentic connections come from the simplest sources. They're not giving up on humanity, they're protecting their peace. And they've learned that a quiet evening with a purring cat offers more genuine companionship than a loud party with people who don't really see them. Keep choosing what brings you peace. Keep building relationships with beings that let you breathe. Keep trusting that your way of connecting is just as valid as anyone else's. Because people who prefer animals over people aren't missing out on connection. They're experiencing a kind of connection that's honest, safe, and unconditional. And in a world where human connection often comes with strings attached, that's not settling for less. That's choosing wisely. Your dog doesn't care if you're successful. Your cat doesn't need you to be fascinating. Your animal companions love you for the simplest reason possible, because you exist. And maybe that's the kind of love everyone deserves, but not everyone receives from other humans. You're not alone in preferring animals. You're part of a quiet community of people who've learned that sometimes the best company doesn't come in human form. And there's nothing wrong with that. There never was.